Hey guys, so I asked for video ideas and Trentito Burrito mentioned something that I had been thinking about talking about anyway, especially considering the time of year we're at, and that's how to deal with rejection. We're at the point where universities are starting to send out acceptances and rejections, and festivals are as well, and so you're starting to get everything back, and it can suck. Rejections suck. And I'm very, very sorry to those of you who are going through that right now. I know full well, and a lot of my friends are experiencing that as well, and it's no fun. But that being said, there's a lot of things that you can do, and there's ways to get through it. And the first thing is don't don't think that it reflects on you as a person or as a player. It's just one instance. They heard you for 15 minutes. And through that, they didn't think that they could work with you. And that doesn't mean anything. Next year, you might come back and play the same, and they might think, yeah, we want to work with this person. It's so subjective, and it has nothing to do with you. And that's really hard to, get into your head, especially when you're looking at a letter that says, we don't want you. But it has nothing, it's nothing against you. And honestly, the more you get rejected from things, the more you realize, okay, it doesn't really matter. I was happy with how I played, and somewhere else will want me. And that might take a while, and you might have to work at it, but someone else will want you. There's always someone who's willing to work with you, who's willing to teach you, who's interested in helping you get further. It just means that that place isn't. And if they don't want you, then you don't want them. And the next thing is, if you don't get in anywhere, taking a year off is not bad. It can give you more life experience, it can give you a chance to work in music or whatever your chosen field is, and get better at it and get more ideas of what you want to do with your life. I honestly wish I had taken a year off between my undergrad and my master's, because one, I would have grown up a little bit more, and two, I would have figured out quicker what I wanted to do. Is where, as it stood this way, I didn't really figure out that I wanted to be a contemporary player until about halfway through last year. So had I taken a year and really figured that out, I would have spent 2 years at a school where contemporary music is the thing, where I would have had much more support in the system. And that's not to say that Jacobs hasn't been amazing for me. It has. But had I been thinking about it and really known where I wanted to go, I probably wouldn't have ended up here. But hindsight is 2020 for me, and it will be for you no matter what happens. I have so many friends who took a year off because they didn't get in, or just because they didn't try, but a lot of them didn't get in the first time, and that's fine. It's not a big deal. They tried again, and they got into IU, which is one of the best music schools in the country. So, it doesn't mean anything. And again, when you're looking at that letter, it's so hard not to think, I suck. But that's not true. And, if you continually remind yourself, hey, I've done all of these other things. I've worked with all of these people. I got into something else. There's always something that you can grab onto that's positive. Because all of us have done great things. And it's also hard to see your friends get into things when you didn't. I know that. And it's hard to realize that your path is your own and you can't compare yourself to anyone because no one's had your experiences. And I've said this a lot. You are on your own path, and whatever path you are on is the right one. But yeah. So, you have all these rejection letters, which can hurt. So what do you do from there? Maybe you're going into your master's and you didn't get in the first time. Okay, cool. So where can you move that you can work and you can practice and you can try again? If you have to move home, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if your hometown's a good music place. If you're from a big city or somewhere where there's a big music community, there's nothing wrong with moving home and doing that, or staying at home an extra year in high school and working and building up money and experience. Because, I mean, school is expensive, and music especially is expensive. So sometimes it's nice to have that little cushion of a year of work to be able to do that. Um, Especially if you're coming out of undergrad. Ooh, sorry. Like, are there people you can move in with in cities that are great for music and gig or teach? Or, like, I'm moving to Chicago to freelance and teach because I'm taking a year off at least. Um, like, are there places you can go to work? And if it's a summer festival you didn't get into, are there other things that are still accepting applications? Are you able to work over the summer instead and again build up money so that you can do things in the future? Um, can you get a studio going over the summer and teach in the summer and get experience that way? Can you volunteer at an orchestra and do some arts admin things? Can you is that there's like tons of things you can do. Granted, might not necessarily be paid, but I mean you have to pay for festivals, so there's that. Um, but get experience within the field or a field related to music, and build up your resume. Um, can you form a group and gig and like form a woodwind quintet and gig over the summer in whatever your hometown is? Like, do something. You can start thinking about that now because we're in March. Chances are your school gets out in May or June, so you have 2 months to figure out something. And there's so many opportunities. And if it's schools that you're looking at and you're looking at what to do next year, there's still probably some schools that are looking for highly qualified applicants that got rejected from the top schools. You'll still get a great education. It'll probably be cheaper. And there still are probably places that are looking for people. It might not be exactly what you were expecting, but most of us ended up at schools we weren't exactly expecting to be at and ended up doing really, really well. So it's not the end of the world. And again, years off are never bad, as long as you make something of it. I hope this was helpful in some way. I know I'm kind of just rambling about trying to stay positive, and I know firsthand that it's easier said than done. But if you can, and you can make something of this rejection and work forward from it, you'll be fine, I promise. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I only got into one grad school. Like, granted, it was Jacobs, but I only got into one. I had 5 other schools reject me outright, not even waitlisted. So, like, rejection happens to everyone. It happens to the best of us. And not to say that I am, that it might sound really conceited, and I don't mean that, but like, even people who look successful have been rejected from major things. So, try not to take it to heart, try to move forward from it, and if you guys ever want suggestions on what you can do with music outside of a school system, I'm happy to help. There's a lot of other people around who are happy to help. And I'm always here for support. I am happy to listen to you guys complain or try to help you move forward from things, because I love you all. As always, if you guys have video ideas, let me know, and I will see you next week.